Hello, it is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Wednesday puzzle, of course, so another themed puzzle, and perhaps just a bit of a step up in difficulty from Monday and Tuesday. And this incremented edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Joe Percy, Joseph Schwalbach, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster and the invaluable Timothy Mark. So thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. They're directly supporting this channel and making it possible for me to produce this series on a sustainable basis. So thank you so much. I do very much appreciate that. And I very much appreciate the contributions of everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level. So thank you to all of you who have done so. If you'd like to find more information about that and get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date and the new ones that go up each week, you can find that, of course, at patreon.com/dailysolve, and there's a link in the description field underneath each video. You can also get access to the Daily Solve Discord chat server's extra channel, the secret channel. It's not too much of a big deal, but it is an extra thing you get. Most of the Discord is free for everybody to join, and you can do that if you'd like, whether you're a Patreon subscriber or not. And if you're a benefactor of the Patreon campaign, you can get the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses mug. Anyway, thanks to everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Do that if you're enjoying these videos. If you're new to the channel or if you've been around a while and you haven't gotten around to subscribing, do subscribe. It's free. Anyway, let's get on to the puzzle itself. This is, of course, a Wednesday puzzle. It is constructed by Christopher Youngs. This is Christopher Young's second puzzle for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's get on with it. Start solving. Green spot in a city would be a park, I would think. Maybe not. Heal is a broken bone. I would have thought mend. Green spot in a city. It's probably some meaning of green that I'm missing. Itinerant musician with a flute. A piper? The Pied Piper? Well, this does look like park, doesn't it? Let's try park and see what happens. There's probably a synonym for heal as a broken bone that isn't coming to mind for me. Monopoly token replaced by a cat in 2013. Oh, I don't think I knew this, but the iron seems like the most, dated of the Monopoly tokens, perhaps. So I wouldn't be surprised if it were that. Patisserie allure. So a patisserie would be a French bakery. Aroma, the scent. The Kiss sculpture, Rodin, I think. And a group of winners at a film awards show. Something around podium, maybe. A group of winners, a podium. I'm not sure. What about this? Discharge. If you discharge a liquid, for instance, you could emit it. So I guess this is knit, a broken bone knit. Actually, that does seem familiar now that I see it, but didn't come to mind earlier. Okay, word after long or strong. Long, the long arm of the law, strong arm, someone into doing your bidding. This does look like podium, doesn't it? So what is this? A crime of great interest. Usury. That's funny. So in this case, great interest, obviously, it looks like a crime in which there would be, to which there'd be a lot of attention paid. But in fact, we're referring to charging usurious rates of interest, high interest. On a loan, for instance, a loan shark. Team blank, Team USA, I suppose, the Olympic team. Oh, here, this looks like one of our theme. Although, maybe not. Maybe this is the theme and this is just some kind of pun thing. Sorry, what I'm saying here is this one named ancient satirist, ellipses, or a Pokemon character. This is the kind of formulation that looks like it could be part of a puzzle's theme because it's dealing with, there's going to be something punny that means these are sharing the same word, but usually there's no rule about this, but there's a common occurrence, which is that the theme related answers will be in these sort of longish across clues. And yes, these all are question marks, meaning they all have some kind of pun associated with them, which does make them more likely to be theme related. Anyway, who knows? We'll have to see. I'm not sure who this is offhand. Baby Buggy in Piccadilly Circus. So a pram, I would think, a perambulator. Baby Buggy in Piccadilly Circus. I think it's just serving as an indicator that we're using British English here rather than American English. Piccadilly Circus being a location and underground station here in London. Top dog, alpha dog, pack leader. Although I think that whole alpha dog thing is sort of has been somewhat disproven, as I understand it. Hinged bit of hardware, a hasp maybe for a door or something. Cher voice-wise, Cher's an alto singer. The range below soprano, the female range, the lower of the two kind of major categories of female range, although there are other finer categories. Like the Boondocks. The Boondocks is used to refer to a rural location. Okay, so what is this? Group of winners at a film awards show. Podium cast? I don't think I quite understand this. Podium cast. Not sure. One named ancient satirist or a Pokemon character. I want this to be Lucian, but that doesn't sound like the name of a Pokemon to me. Not sure. Not real royals, maybe. Oh, imposters? And so that does actually make that I look more likely. Target for William Tell. Okay, well, William Tell famously shot an arrow off of his son's head. So is this going to be Apple over here? Something Apple? Carpet type, a shag carpet. Big, fuzzy, fluffy carpet. Part of a foot. Something step? Something to take up or let out. You could take up or let out a hem of a dress, say, if you were altering it. So part of a foot, some kind of step. Reminder of a past injury. An ache or a throb or a scar. There we go. Convert into a higher level language as computer code. Oh, recompile. Oh, impostors. Sorry about that. I misspelled imposters. That's embarrassing. Convert into a higher level language as computer code. You could recompile the code, I suppose. And King of English Theater. So in this case, we're not referring to the metaphorical king, but rather a literal king character, King Lear of Shakespeare. And blank threat. Not sure. What about this? Blank the twain shall meet. Ne'er the twain shall meet. Never. Poetic contraction of never. Ne'er the twain shall meet. Muffs makes a mistake. Airs. What is this? Oh, is this a decompile, perhaps? Yes, actually, that makes more sense. Wow, that's actually quite a technical answer. So higher level, computer language being higher level means it's sort of, I don't know, this is a very imprecise way to say this, but it would be closer to human language, to natural language, whereas lower level makes it closer to the machine, if you see what I mean. So it's sort of more difficult to write in lower level languages because they're less like natural languages that humans speak. So decompile. Isn't that, it seems like the opposite of what this would be to me. If you decompile, you put it back into the language that you wrote as opposed to what it's been compiled to in machine code. So it almost seems like this would be the reverse. This seems like decompiling would convert it. Oh no, that's true. Sorry, that is correct. Yes, sorry. I'm talking myself in circles. You decompile it from the machine language into something you wrote, which makes it higher level. That's correct. Sorry, I'm blathering at this point. I'm going to move on. I'm not much of a programmer, by the way, which is why I made that mistake. It's just I've picked up some programming from my day job. Anyway, part of a foot is instep. I guess. And idle threat. Why didn't I see that? Oh, it's because I had decompiled spelled incorrectly. That's why. Okay, in need of directions is lost, perhaps, and the grandson of Adam and Eve is Esau, I think, or yeah, I think so, or maybe Esai. Let's see. Let's look at this. To boot, no, Enoch. What am I doing here? F minus for one. Oh, a negative. This is a negatively charged atom, I guess. So an ion. And then grandson of Adam and Eve. Enos. That's it, right? Sorry, I'm getting all of my E names confused. This is ridiculous. And is that? Oh, that S does actually work better here. I think this is correct. And then to boot is also monopolist's portion would be all of it. If you monopolize something, you control all of it. Tiny parts of archipelagos would be inlets, I suppose, or islets, small islands. Yes, archipelagos, island chains, and then vice city. So this isn't vice city with as a proper noun with a capital C. It's rather a city, a vice, or could be something esoteric like the vice president's city or something. I'm not actually sure what this is referring to. Where seance leaders get their degrees. I still am not sure what's going on with this theme. Let's target for William Tell. Singer Crow. Sheryl Crow is a singer. Cause of some breathing problems. I'm not sure. Smog. Polluted air. And Oscar Blank, player of Poe Dameron in Star Wars films. Oscar Isaac, the actor. And one who calls people out. An umpire would call out in a match, a baseball game, for instance. Statement to a chair of a meeting. And what is this again? Oh, this is William Tell thing. Oh, this could have an in it. Oh, and without the this is podcast. Oh, I see. So we're taking a sort of ordinary compound phrase, in this case, podcast, and we're inserting an maybe the theme will have something to do with, I don't know. I can't think of what to say, if you see what I mean. That sort of thing. I'm not sure, but we'll have to see. And so we're turning that into Podium Cast, which is a group of winners at a film awards show. That is slightly awkward, but fair enough. So this must be what? Cranium apple? Yes. So cran apple, which is a juice, a sort of cranberry apple juice. We're having inserted, and then that's creating cranium apple or apple on one's cranium, on one's head. Okay, so we figured out essentially what's going on with the theme, I think. Statement to a chair of a meeting would be a motion. You file a motion to table a motion. Turn into a film, say. Adapt a book, for instance, into a film. Arabic piece, salam. And throw shade at, to diss somebody, to throw shade at them, to take them down a peg. Personification of Earth in Greek myth would be goddess. The goddess Gaia. And territory ceded by Spain to the U.S. in 1898. Guam, where seance leaders get their degrees. Oh, something school, right? Of course. So seance leaders. Seance leaders. I'm just not good at this theme, am I? What about, let's just fill in some crosses. Alan Payton's Cry the Beloved Country. I may have pronounced his name incorrectly, but Cry the Beloved Country is correct. Almost every get-rich-quick scheme is a scam. And spot in a green would be a hole, a golf course in this case, I think. And Command-C on a Mac would be copy, as in copy and paste. Comedian Wong is Ali Wong. And, medium school, of course. So medical school, but we're turning med school into medium school with the And seance leader would be a medium, someone who purports to be able to communicate with some kind of afterlife or astral plane. outer layer of skin would be your epidermis, and Vice City. What is that? I'll come back to it. Van Gogh or Van Gogh work that in 1987 became the most expensive painting ever sold. Oh, interesting. Was it irises? I actually didn't know that. It was the most expensive painting ever sold at the time. I'm sure it's long been surpassed. In fact, I think now the most expensive painting ever sold was that ostensible Leonardo painting that may in fact not have been a Leonardo. Unfinished Crusade of the 1970s in brief. The ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment. And an inning is to baseball as a what is to curling. I don't know. What do you call a sort of unit of time of of curling, or sort of a unit of gameplay of curling? Is it an end? I don't know. Vice. Oh, Sodom is in Sodom and Gomorrah, Vice City. That's clever. So City of Vice. And this does look like end, doesn't it? Chopping could be what? Hewing, as in a tree? Art of bone carving. Scrimshaw is bone carving. You'll you see little interesting curios carved out of bone. That's scrimshaw. Attempt. You could take a stab at solving this crossword. And actors who don't play their roles subtly. I don't know. Is it Toms? I don't think I'm familiar with this vocabulary. Early Ron Howard. Oh no, this must not be stab. Early Ron Howard role, I think, is Opie from... I can't remember the show. That's infuriating. And then fling something is to toss something. Aria da Capo? And, I see. Actors who don't play their roles subtly are hams. There we go. Makes much more sense. Not Toms. Okay. An attempt is a shot. Okay, take your shot. So stab would have worked there, but not the answer in this case. It's shot. Fair enough. Okay, symbol on an 8 key. Well, I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to look down on my keyboard and see that it's the star, the asterisk. Great. Juno's Greek counterpart is Hera. That's the Roman name for the Greek goddess Hera. And Mideast's Gulf of Aden. And long lecture from a parent. So tedium talk. We're turning TED Talk into tedium talk. Very good. And aren't you a little short for Stormtrooper Princess Leia from the film Star Wars? And tribe for which the 45th state is named, the Utes. Ute tribe. And then the Rockies, e.g., are a mountain range. Okay, let's see. What do we have up here? Eggs in a lab. Ova, I guess. Is that what we're looking for? I guess it must be. Let's check the crosses. Blank orange. Not sure. In 5 letters, Agent Orange would fit, but that doesn't fit for 2 reasons. Home on the Riviera, say. A villa, maybe? And didn't contain one's curiosity. Asked. You didn't hold in your question. You asked it. Green spot in a desert. Oh, an oasis. There we go. So we had several green spots, didn't we? That's interesting. Is it Osage orange? Let's check the crosses. I'm not sure. Do more than just check out. You do more than just check somebody out. You sort of rudely ogle them. And an itsy bit of something would be an atom, and then a drink from a Viking's goblet would be mead. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I would say that's probably a little slight step up in difficulty from the last couple of days. And I would say a much less obvious theme than we had. So it was a slightly awkward theme, I think. Some of these... Wait, so did we never have an explanation of the ium? Oh, that's too bad. I was thinking there was going to be a revealer that was a clue about something like hesitation or something like that. What you do when you can't think of something to say, as indicated in I don't know, in the 4 answers, something like that. I mean, that would be terrible, or what I just said. But I was expecting there to be something like that, and I'm slightly disappointed there isn't. So we just have this sort of arbitrary inserted throughout the puzzle. It doesn't really add up to anything. That's too bad. I keep saying but anyway, fair enough. Sometimes that happens with the themes. I created an expectation that was not fulfilled, so I'm more disappointed than I would have been had I never created the expectation in my own mind. I guess that's my own fault. But anyway, that was the puzzle. It was, I think, basically correctly pitched for what a Wednesday puzzle is intended to be. Let me know if you agreed with that and how you felt about the theme, whether you shared my my slight letdown at the end, or if not having created that arbitrary expectation, it was therefore not disappointed. All right. Let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle as well, because I think there were several, and some of them were on the long side, so let's get on to it. Well, first of all, this was a straightforward thing that I simply missed. Sean Richards said, "You missed 44 across, home of Miami University." The answer to which, surprisingly to me anyway, was Ohio. As Sean Richards says, "I'm not an American, so I spent several seconds puzzling over how to fit Florida into 4 squares." Well, if it's any consolation, I had no idea that Miami University was in Ohio, or that there is a Miami University in Ohio. I would not have known that. Although Phantom Pickles replies to say, as a somewhat interesting fact, Miami University in Ohio was founded in 1809, long before the University of Miami in Florida in 1925, so over a century before. Whoops. All right, well, good to know. I guess that makes more sense. It would be stranger if it were founded later, because that would, you'd think that would be, you'd want to avoid that confusion. So anyway, thank you to both Sean Richards and Phantom Pickles. Okay, and then we have a couple. Actually, let me read the other short answers first. So Nandini Marotra says, raw silk is a common fabric used in India to make saris and kurtas. I was well aware belonging to the culture, but hearing raw milk really cracked me up. Yes, I went from raw wool to raw milk and then onto the correct raw silk. So thank you, Nandini, for that. And Dances with Logic says, I may be wrong, but my understanding of mystery candy is that it's used when the production line moves from one flavor to the next. Instead of cleaning the machines, they blend the incoming mix with the last. The combination is then wrapped as a mystery. Fascinating. Thank you, Dances with Logic. And so here we have 2 longish comments that I thought were interesting discussions of their respective topics. So first off, James Draper says, you were basically correct about ADHD. It stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. There we go, hyperactivity disorder. Thank you. The clue is a surprisingly accurate definition, unlike the actual term ADHD, which, speaking as somebody who suffers from the condition, is frustratingly misleading. Most people with ADHD are not hyperactive and typically don't have a deficit of attention either. We can sometimes focus very intensely on things for long periods. The problem is not being able to consciously choose where that attention is directed. Also, as implied by this clue, problems related to executive function, working memory, the ability to organize tasks, etc., are arguably the defining characteristic of the condition, and they don't get a look in the name. It's still very much a misunderstood condition, so it's heartening to see a tiny bit of accurate representation like this. And Carrie Coxwell replied to say, I couldn't agree more. As a late diagnosed ADHDer, it truly warmed my heart to see the condition accurately described in the puzzle of record. And Stepdad, so yes, thank you for that. I think there was at least one more longish comment on this topic, but this is the one I happened to see first. So thank you to everybody who commented. Very interesting comments. And then Stepdad Dunk similarly says, well, in this case, you corrected yourself, but I did want to take the time to clarify for anyone else wondering, because this often gets mixed up. Nihilism, as often viewed in continental philosophy, is an elusive term. It doesn't necessarily categorize any rigid belief system, and it could just be understood as the view that there is no inherent value in life. This is often attributed to Nietzsche, who often sought to overcome nihilism with his own brand of existentialism. This ism, though also elusive, is far closer to a belief system of no beliefs, though most existentialists would likely resent that description and the word belief altogether. Overall, it could be said that while nihilism wallows in meaninglessness, existentialism faces the void and asks, now what? It's a great little couplet there. So thank you, Stepdad Dunk. And that is all the comments that I had. Thank you to everybody who left them. They're very interesting. And to everybody who leaves comments every day. It's a great part of doing this series, I think. And that's it for today's video, I suppose. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle and the video. And I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the Thursday puzzle when we come back to solve a more complex or elusive theme of some kind. I hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Wednesday. Take care.